welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. This is a review for Robot Rabbit, and with me today are two robots, my good friends Mark Arnold and Kamden Spies. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi guys, Robot Mark here.
People are going to think I did this whole review like in AI or something. I just typed it out and just stole your voices.
Done by AI.
Alright, so as mentioned, this is for Robot Rabbit, released on the 12th of December 1953. It's the 697th in the series, and it's directed by Friz Freleng. You can currently find this beautiful restoration on the Bugs Bunny 80th Blu-ray set, and I have a link below to that set. You won't find it here on YouTube, it's under copyright. If I do post the whole thing, it'll just get blocked. So in case you haven't seen this one, all it is Farmer Elmer Fudd. He decides, you know what, I'm going to get rid of that pesky Bugs Bunny. He's going to use the Acme Company's electronic pest controller with robot brain. And this is why I'm not a career voiceover actor. And yeah, you get some shenanigans between the robot and Bugs Bunny, as you would expect. Nothing deep. It's fine for what it is.
Hot with a screwdriver. Why, you big nincomb. Boop.
Right, trivia time. There's not really much here.
Bugs Bunny fought against a robot trying to take the place of Santa in a Looney Tunes Christmas comic book from the 1950s, to the point to where a shepherd, kind of like Christian theme, decided to build a robot to take all of Santa's tasks by building a giant 40-foot robot that they eventually fought off with snowballs and a gun.
Wow, sounds like a pretty intense read right there. Have a
And
look
then
at
Bugs
that
Bunny's
sure.
Christmas Funnies #1.
And look, with the whole robot thing, with this short being released in 1953, well, what do you expect? Sci-fi was pretty out there, wasn't it, Mark, around this time?
Yeah, I mean, The Day the Earth Stood Still was released a couple years earlier. That has Gort. That's kind of a robot monster, as it were. Even the movie Robot Monster came out in 3D. So, yeah, there's a lot of technology-inspired movies and TVs, shows and cartoons and blah, blah, because it was all happening.
With the theme of let's replace everyone with a robot at the time. It's like the push button tabby, I think it's called, with Tom and Jerry one.
There was definitely a theme because, yeah, the sci-fi was definitely around the 50s. You got some amazing movies like the ones you mentioned, Mark, and then you got ones that are not. A lot of the Z-grade sci-fi stuff that was just made for a quick buck. So it's not surprising that they've done a robot-themed one in 1953. But speaking of robot-themed, I love the What's Up Doc song in the beginning of this short, and it's a unique version by Carl Starling where it does that futuristic robot style. There is one reuse of animation, which of course makes this short unwatchable. No, I'm kidding, of course, but there is a reuse of animation from Rabbit Every Monday where there's that sieve. So Sam in Rabbit Every Monday, he would shake the sieve and of course Bugs Bunny would show up. The robot does the same here. Yeah, unwatchable, guys. What do you think? 0 out of 10 for this short now?
It does explain something that I wanted to go into about. For some reason, Bugs Bunny looks really small when he's in that thing after he's shaken out. I don't know if that has to do with the reuse of animation or if it was just animated poorly in the first place about just keeping everything in the proper size comparison to other scenes. You know, he seems very tiny.
It was probably just a case of, you know, to do that scene would have taken a lot of work, so I can understand why they would have reused it, so it's fine for what it is, I guess, you know.
Okay, we'll give it a few points.
Yeah, it will be nice this time around, you know. But later on, once Friz really starts reusing a lot of stuff, yeah, that's when we're going to be probably a bit more picky, but anyway. And this is actually the first Bugs and Elmer team-up by Friz since 1949's wonderful short with the awful generic name Hairdo. I mean, I love the short, but my goodness, I keep forgetting what that short actually is. And Friz, since then, opted to use Sam quite a bit. But here, maybe you just thought Elmer's character would suit the story more as a farmer. I mean, you couldn't really picture Sam as a farmer, could you?
No.
No.
What's interesting, though, even though he's supposed to be a farmer, he wears his hunting outfit most of the time in this short.
You know, he's up in
Farmer
there.
Fudd was Elmer's main thing in comic books, too. He had him as a hunter, too, but the comics were more domesticated. They were in all the stories, but they were more, because you can't really tell slapstick through comic book format, clearly.
Well, also, I think they're trying to tone down the violence a little bit in the comic books, too. So, you know, if he's not a hunter, he's not going to be having a gun, typically.
In any case, let's take a look at this short, and I will admit, First of all, even though I've had that Bugs Bunny 80th Blu-ray set for a few years now, I just never got around to watching this one. I'm a busy bee, and I was especially busy during COVID when I had to homeschool my kids. But I finally got a chance to watch this, and it's pretty good. I quite like this one. It's no masterpiece, especially when you compare it to some of the stuff released in 53, but I liked it. Mark, I'm assuming you probably watched this plenty of times before.
Oh, yeah. I like it because I like robots and technology and all that stuff. I always like robots and little wind-up toys, little metal toys and things like that.
I love this robot design, and it's very 50s. There's just something about the way robot designs were in the 1950s that's just so appealing, and I can understand why. There was a period of time, even in the 2000s, where there would be like 50s designs revisited and things like The Incredibles and that sort of stuff. The Iron Giant, that's clearly inspired. So, I think Brad Bird, I suspect he's a fan of this stuff. I don't know. But, I like in the beginning, so we see that robot design and that wonderful futuristic version of What's Up, Doc, and we get into Elmer singing in the beginning in a little red barn on a farm down in Indiana. And as I understand, it was a wildly popular song from 1934 and used in quite a few films.
In Indiana, for the sycamore trees where the Wabash breezes play.
And then it just turns into this duet with Bugs. I love the opening. It's so good. I noticed that Frizz in a lot of Bugs Bunny shorts of late, he always has at least some sort of a song being sung by Bugs. And it's nice. Like sometimes he'll sing It's Magic and other things. So it's nice. It's a good way to start things off.
What's more, I'm pining for a yellow moon that shines. Whining on a little red barn on a farm down in Indiana way. I said Indiana way.
But as you mentioned, Mark, he's really had his hunting hat on. He somehow quickly changes into his hunter uniform so quickly. He goes, I'll let you have it, and starts shooting the hole, which, again, cartoon logic, but, if someone did that in real life, you'd make a pretty big mess, wouldn't you? It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
For me? Well, let me have it.
I'll let you have it. Here it is.
And we get the beautiful joke, which I'm sure Kamden laughed at a lot, was, of course, when Bugs kicks the bucket.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was your favorite bit. You're laughing hysterically at it, right? I wonder if Stanley Kramer saw that bit when he did the Mad, Mad, Mad World when the character kicks the bucket. I wonder if he saw that, But anyway, that's what it reminded me of.
Elmer Fudd is really stupid.
Yeah, well, the two then sing it.
Wait! The rabbit kicked the bucket.
The rabbit kicked the bucket, 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 the bucket kicked the rabbit kicked the rabbit, the bucket kicked the rabbit.
And it's the dainty voice, and I love the little dance that Bugs does, and, and away we go, and all that. Like, I was actually surprised how much I enjoyed this, especially in the beginning. It just felt like one more from the 40s by Frizz. That's how I felt.
Thank you so very much for the dance. You dance divinely. And away we go.
Oh, that rabbit tricked me again.
Yeah, maybe you just tried a little harder because it was kind of a different concept.
I don't know. This one was just so good. For someone that really didn't care too much for Elmer, Frizz does some pretty good stuff with him, though, I would say. But anyway, I like how Elmer goes to the phone, and I like how he just knew the number for Acme Pest Control immediately. It's like does he always call them? But anyway, but I want to ask you guys something. There was a really weird shot in this, and that's with the phone receiver. So he's talking to the Acme Pest Control, or Pest Control, and the receiver covers his mouth. And I'm wondering, did they maybe originally had Elmer say something else, but then they changed the dialogue, so then they just put the receiver in front of his mouth so they wouldn't have to reanimate it? I don't know. It's a weird shot, isn't it?
We'll fix it when we animate it. We just won't animate the mouth or cover the mouth, and then they can change it to anything.
It's an odd choice of staging in that one scene. But anyway, is it a deal breaker? Of course not. But it was just something that just struck out at me as they don't normally do that, But anyway, but whatever.
Hello, Acme Pest Control? Well, I've got a pest I want controlled. What's that? A robot pest controller with an electronic brain? Well, send one right over.
Whatever, we'll move on to something else because I know you guys are saying this guy's too obsessed. He's thinking about the stupidest things.
He thinks about the stupidest thing.
He thinks about the stupidest things. So we see the robot, and as mentioned before, it's your typical 1950s robot design. And we even hear that Starling cue that we've heard a lot in like a Wild Hare. And if you hear the cue, you'll know what all cue I'm talking about. Starling seems to love to reuse that one.
Insert illustration of pest you want controlled into slot mark B.
What's up, Doc?
So then we got the whole punch card thing, and I like how it seems to foreshadow punch cards for computing. And can we just point out how ridiculous this whole idea of that there's this robot you could order in the 1950s that works perfectly?
Think about all the robots that arrived. First put in Kitty, which apparently was released a year before this one was. And then there's the Pixie and Dixie one. There's Modern Inventions. There's all sorts of different stuff where those robots come randomly and they fix all the problems.
And of course, this robot's so advanced, it starts up like an old motor. I love the sound effect. It's just, yeah, okay, sure, all right. We'll go with that. But one of my favorite scenes when the robot makes a mistake. So he sees the donkey and mistakes it for a rabbit, and it's like, what did I do? What'd I do? That delivery just got me. That was fantastic. And as you expect, Alma's like, no, you stupid robot. This is what a rabbit is. You know where this is going, but it's still a funny little scene there anyway.
A rabbit has long ears like this, and he hops around on all fours like this.
It reminds me of Operation Rabbit, where he is that like UFO thing,
where the robot goes to Bugs and then Bugs changes it and
he puts on like a chicken mask on. Yeah,
exactly. So it's all about the robots. And now the robot is after Bugs. He finally gets it right for the third time, and Bugs is like, you overgrown water heater, and starts telling him off. And we get a repeated bit that's been done in a lot of cartoons, usually by Daffy Duck, where it's like, you ninkum, something happens, poop. I think Warren Foster loved using that particular gag, but anyway, it's funny. Nothing wrong with that. Another one of my favorite lines is, I can see this cigarette machine will cause me no end of trouble. And if you look very closely at that bit, there's no lip movement, so they're doing a whole Popeye thing. They probably did post-recording. And that lends to my theory before that they probably recorded something for that scene with the phone receiver and all that.
I can see this cigarette machine is going to cause me no end of trouble.
So the robot isn't exactly waterproof, as you find out, and it rusts. So this is pretty much the Tesla truck of the 1950s. Probably the most ridiculous bit of this short, the Bugs Bunny robot disguise.
This compete with the Tasmanian Devil costume and Bed Devil Rabbit for the weirdest costume bugs. So there's a difference between Hillbilly Girl and like Hillbilly Hair or Broomhilda and What's Opera Duck than like just a wig and a bear trap in your mouth or a bucket and a stove.
My thought about it has always been that Bugs will stop at nothing to defeat his adversary. He's a very free type of individual. He doesn't really care about how he will be perceived or looked or whatever to achieve that goal.
He realizes that his opponents are too stupid.
He actually knows that this robot is not the advanced model, so he could sort of go a little bit cheaper on the costume in this case, so the robot would be fooled. Yeah. But it's so ridiculous that somehow Bugs, he must be really strong because he was able to even do this little butt dance for a brief moment. And those stoves aren't exactly light, so it would probably break his shoulders and his back and slip a few discs. But anyway, cartoon logic, we just go with it.
This whole robot literally runs with a small switch.
You'll even hear l'amour, toujours l'amour, and the robot even offers, this is a real funny little dad joke, assorted nuts. And we all know what sort of nuts that he's offering. And the cherry on top is Mel Blanc's wonderful woman disguise voice.
Which apparently the robot can't talk, but the rabbit can.
Of course, because Bugs is the more advanced model, right?
You, Mr. Robot! Ooh, for me? Ooh, thank you. Ooh, oh my, now stop it.
And yeah, Bugs throws the wrench in and...
That solves that's an old gag, though. That's not something they made.
It was in a Bosco short where there was a robot, so I can tell you that. Here it's magic, but it's now alter lyrics for carrots, where it's like you get a bunch for a dime or something, which I don't think carrots cost that cheap anymore, right?
Oh, carrots are divine. You get a dozen for a dime. It's magic.
So anyway, we get a little chase scene to a construction site, and this is a great example of Friez's timing, where we get the whole, I don't even know what that machine's called. Like, what would that machine be called?
It is a pile driver. That's what those are. Because there's probably people watching this going, it's a pile driver, guys.
You need to go to my other channel, Anthony's Construction Talk, for more details about that. So we don't even see the end result of this particular final gag. We just know that something's going to happen to this robot. Presumably, it was probably cheaper just to show the end result instead of actually showing him being crushed, but whatever. And Elmer's pretty upset that he's presumably spent thousands upon thousands of dollars for this robot. I mean, I can't imagine this robot being cheap had they actually existed. And yeah, the final punchline at the end, someday scientists will invent something that will outsmart a rabbit. The end.
I would give this an 8 out of 10, not a 10, because it's missing the Santa robot that the comic book had 3 years before. No shepherds, no robots, no snowball fights.
Oh no. But look, in this case, for me, in terms of rating, look, this one gets a nice 8.5 out of 10. See, this one, just like with Easy Peckins, which funnily enough, I recorded yesterday with Luke Perkins. I record these things all over the place in case people watching this were wondering. And that was also another one I just had not seen before. And I'm watching some of these new ones, well, new to me at least, and they're really pleasant surprises. I really like this one.
Well, Anthony just lied. He actually has us all hostage. Just randomly gets us all out of his closet whenever he needs an extra person. We're not even real, guys. We're just like ventriloquist dolls that he holds.
You're AI, like we said.
Yeah, they're all AI. That's right.
I actually really like it. I'd probably give it a 9 because it's just funny. You know, there's lots of funny bits in it. And that's really my criterion. You know, yeah, there's mistakes in it. There's problems with it. But I don't worry about that. If it's funny, it's funny.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, that's why I still rated it a good score, because at the end of the day, sure. All right, there's those weird scenes with the phone receiver and poor lip sync and reused animation in one bit, but in the end, who cares? It's funny. Whatever. It's just an observation and nothing more. So when I go to sleep tonight, I'll be just tossing and turning in bed going, no, they reused the Steve gag. No. And, you know, and I'll just wake up just drenched in sweat because I just can't get over the fact he reused that one little scene. Yeah.
You can't reuse animation. Disney never... Oh, wait a minute.
No, Freeze, you can't reuse the animation. No, Freeze, no. But anyway, yeah. Oh, boy. But I think that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care.
Does this answer your question? You know, someday these scientists are going to invent something that will outsmart a rabbit.